channel. It's me, Brittany Michelle, here today, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about something that I've been going through since I was 2 years old. So I'm gonna just kind of jump right into it. So I was born in the Bay Area, and I was born in wine country, Napa, California. I was born a normal baby, and when I was 2 years old, my father, who did not raise me, but he was around until I was about 2.5, and he actually got strep throat. And my mother, she actually wasn't really financially stable, so she basically was really poor. We were really poor at the time, and it was just me, my older sister, and my father, who did not raise me, once I might add. We'll just call him Jack. Jack got sick. Jack got, I don't like calling him my father because he did not raise me and he has no credit for my life, so I like to give all my credit to the man that did raise me, who is my dad, and that's another vlog. But anywho, Jack, he got strep throat, and he came around me at 2 years old, and he ended up getting me sick with strep throat. And Jack got sick and came around me being only 2 years old. Little did they know, being around a 2-year-old with a very low immune system, that is very dangerous. Sudden, the strep throat had gotten to my immune system, and my immune system overreacted. So I ended up getting really bad fevers. Doctors didn't know what was going on with me. So my mom took me to a hospital where they actually had me as a 2-year-old going to elderly doctors. I was supposed to be in a pediatrics area, but no, they sent me to adult doctors because I had been diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis at 2 years old, because from rheumatic fever, which is really bad fevers of above 103 degrees, 103, and I'm telling you, I remember being little and being so sick and having these like nightmares and just being so hot and being so sick all the time. And I can remember being 2 years old and being sick. They sent me to adult doctors, and they were giving me shots of aspirin in my lower back once a week for a very long time, and that's how they were treating my condition, because they had never had a case like me before. It was very unfamiliar back in the early 90s, little kids having a quote-unquote elderly disease. That they were only familiar with elderly people getting this condition. So they sent me to the elderly doctor, and he was giving me shots of aspirin, and at this time, you know, my legs were stuck forward and straight, and my mom said in order to get around I would scoot around, and that just is a testament to my spirit. I was not going to let this disease stop me. Never have, never will. But it has been extremely hard, and it hasn't been easy, especially dealing with that as a little girl. They then were just continuing to give me shots in my lower back, and my arm kept on coming out of the socket. My mom would bring me in, and they thought my mom was abusing me, so they called CPS, but because my mother was taking great care of me, I didn't get taken away. But because them calling CPS, they got me to the right care. And later they found out, no, she's just really sick. She has severe rheumatoid arthritis. Her mother's doing a great job, and we're going to take her to the best doctors ever. So they sent me to Sacramento, where I was being treated, and they gave me a medication called prednisone, where I was taking the medication for 4 months, and my mom said it slowly and surely really did help me, and I ended up going from having every single joint in my body, every bone in my body being fused together and stuck, to being able to move again. We didn't study the disease. We didn't, learn about it. My mom's a young mother on welfare, so All we knew is that we were going to listen to these doctors. So she took the prednisone, and they said, you know, this is a very dangerous medicine. It has so many bad side effects, but this is all we have right now for your daughter. Her mother, you know, she had to just listen to these doctors who were treating her like crap and not helping her understand the disease. So they gave me the medication and my disease went away for 7 years. I had a normal childhood until I was about 8 years old. When I was turning 9, my grandparents took me to Las Vegas. And I got into the hot tub there, and I remember wearing sunscreen and having a great time. And then shortly after we got back, I remember I had like a little rash on my chest, and little did I know that was a sign of my condition coming back. When I got back from Las Vegas, I showed my grandma the rash, and she said, oh no, it's probably just from the sunscreen. So we figured, okay, we're just not going to worry about it. Let's just move on with our life. Months go by, and I went to Vegas in August, and by the time December came, my mom and dad noticed I was walking with the limp. Had me walk. I remember them actually saying, Brittany, walk to the door real quick. And they noticed I was kind of walking uneven. And I was very weak. I was sleeping all the time. And they realized this monster had come back. But not only did it come back, it came back tenfold. It came back in every single joint in my body. It was causing me to sleep all the time, and I wasn't hungry anymore, and I dropped down to 65 pounds. And I remember just being so tired, and my mom just not knowing what to do, my parents not knowing what to do. They actually were just trying to figure out what the plan was with the doctors, and so the doctors put me on a medication called naproxen and codeine for pain. And I just remember just wanting to sleep. I just remember feeling so bad because kids were making fun of me at school because I was walking differently. And they were so cruel. They would call me crippled. They would call me penguin because I started walking with a limp. And the kids really didn't understand. I just stopped wanting to go to school, and I told my mom every time she'd want to wake me up, I don't want to live anymore. I don't want to live anymore. And I'm 9 years old telling this to my mom. So it broke her heart, and so she would just let me sleep. Then my uncle came over. My uncle came over, and he has no sympathy. My uncle and my father, who raised me, said, the world isn't going to stop for you. The world is going to still move on whether you're sick or not. So you're going to get up, and you're going to stop feeling bad for yourself, and you're going to live. Because if my daughter and my niece is sitting here feeling bad for herself. So one day I was asleep in my bed, just trying to sleep, because the disease makes you so tired. The disease makes you not want to do anything, really. Just so tired. Your immune system is so active, trying to keep you alive, that you just want to sleep. Got me out of the bed, and he gave me an Ensure, and he said, you're going to drink this. And I said, no, Uncle, I can't drink it. I can't drink it. I'm going to throw up. I'm going to throw up. He said, if you throw it up, you're going to eat your throw up. Now eat this. And I cried, and even though it took me about 2 hours, he made me drink it so I could get that nutrients. He took me to Lodi with him, and I got put in a boot camp where he woke me up at 6 a.m., put me in the hot tub, and worked me out and gave me my fight back. Because without that, I would have continued to feel bad for myself. Oh my God, I see the biggest spider on my couch. Hold on. Look at that. Bro, I'm about to kill it. It's a brown recluse. My mom got bit by one of these things. Oh my God. Look at this. This is what bit my mother when I was 9 years old. She got bit by this thing and had to go to the hospital and almost got her arm cut off. Thank you for interrupting my mom's life when I was 9, because you're about to die. And also, thank you for interrupting my vlog. Get off of my Santa pillow. Oh my God, I cannot believe this. Oh my God, I'm about to kill this thing. now that all distractions are done, I'm gonna just go ahead and sit right here and get back to the vlog. I went to my uncle's and he basically put the fight back in me. He wasn't gonna let me feel bad for myself because I was going through a lot as a 9-year-old. You know, the only thing on my mind at 9 was focusing on the fact that we only had 2 recesses. You know, that was a big step for a 9-year-old. But no, my life changed and I was bullied. I was made fun of. Kids were so mean. I had one really good friend who stood up for me though, and she made sure that I did not feel alone, and I'm so grateful for that because it was a really hard time for me because I wanted to die at 9 years old. I literally told my mother I don't want to live no more. And I remember just thinking, well, if I just sleep, I don't have to wake up, and then that's it. But my uncle took me to Lodi and he gave me this little boot camp thing to put the fight back in me, and I actually learned a lot from it. And I was actually placed in the hospital called UCSF, the #1 hospital in California. Make-A-Wish Foundation was phenomenal to me, and they actually saved my life. When I was hospitalized, I spent a lot of time there, a lot of years, and over the years they had told me, you know what, you're gonna have to get your hips replaced at a really young age. When I turned 15, they told me, okay, time's here, you know, you're done growing, you're gonna be 4'11", and you know, I stopped growing at 9 years old. I was actually really tall for my age, and then I stopped growing because I was sick. So I ended up having to get my hips replaced. I remember the day that they told me that I was going to get my hips replaced. I was so scared. I literally thought that I was going to die. I literally thought that this meant that I was going to die. Like, accepting my hip replacements for me was like accepting death. The doctors told me many times, we don't know if you're going to make it past 19. And so I wrote this tattoo here when I was 9 years old. I actually was reading my journal one day, and it says, I am not this body, I am my spirit. This body may have a disease, but my spirit is disease-free, honey. And so I wrote that as a little dig for the doctors to see when they're operating on me, like, I'm still in this thing. One thing I want other people to know with my condition is that don't let these doctors pump lies into your life. It was one of the most hardest things to accept. I had to accept that at 15, I was gonna get both hips replaced.